We're starting off high.
We can get a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
You had accountability. Now, what I can...
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where, give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust human to raise back wolves.
Before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yo, welcome back to Do Fools Agree. I am your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Cliff, and coming through on the Skype as long as it's still working, we got Matt joining us yet again. How's it going, fellas?
Hey.
What's good?
Still breathing.
What's good? You know, I keep trying to deal with this little click that I keep getting on the board. It's pissing me off. I got another mixer I could try, but I don't know if it's because of this or because it's coming through the computer or what. But we do have the 3-panel shot live, so I'm proud of that.
Feeling like ESPN out
here.
here.
Right. We starting to get legit with all this. The smooth transitions and everything.
Might start getting real egregious. Like Stephen A. Smith.
That's usually what happens right about now is when the stream drops, though. So when I start feeling good about the way things are going, that's usually what happens.
Don't speak that into existence.
We'll knock on wood.
We operate off vibrations and frequencies.
Absolutely.
And that 5G shit, don't talk that into existence.
Speaking of 5G, that was the other thing we did this week is I called my local cable company. We talked about them last week, called WOW.
Uh-huh.
And was like,
gang.
my internet sucks.
Gang.
Can I go up a tier? They're like, yeah, actually, you could go up to the best tier and be paying $15 a month less.
No,
I love how they hide that shit from you.
No fucking doubt.
Listen.
So we now have gigabit speeds on the internet. So if we ever have a drop stream, it's on YouTube's end, not mine.
Okay. Now, what kind of internet is that, if you don't mind me asking?
It's the WOW 1000, basically. So it's WOW's 1,000 megs, so gigabit speed.
I need to call them.
It's their internet. Well, what I said is that I used to be on the 30 meg plan, which they don't even offer anymore.
No, I think, what is it? I think 90 or I don't know what the third tier was.
The ones that they offer, I think, are 100, 300,
tier.
500, 1,000.
I got the 100, and I ping test. No, I went through like a month of back and forth when we first started the thing because I was like, you guys suck, and I'm going to drop you because I'm doing the speed test online.
Right.
And it's saying 5 gigs or 5 megs.
Right. Well, I will tell you that depending what computer I use, there's a big difference. Like if I use the new one that's running this studio, I can get up to like 500 meg, 600 meg. If I use the one that we've got over here in the corner so that I can make sure the live stream's working, I can get 20.
Whichever one's had less porn looked up
right,
on it.
Exactly.
Usually tends to run the fastest.
It's generally how it works. How it works.
Listen.
Goodness gracious.
Phone for that, man? Come on.
Hey.
You gotta have the burner phone just for the porn. That's why I keep those old phones around. Everybody always asks me, just like the cords. Everybody wants to know why you keep all the cords around. Because guess what? I needed every single one. Why you keep those old phones around? For porn.
Right. Got some videos, sentimental value to those.
I got some sites that I'm not sure I need on regular history.
Listen. Hey.
Incognito mode, man.
You know? Shit. Get a VPN.
So, Cliff, how you been, man? How's your first week of work from home gone?
It's gotten a little better.
It's been a little better?
It's gotten a little better. I think I've gotten into the flow of things a bit.
Got into a little bit of a rhythm?
Yeah. Still don't know if I quite like it yet.
Not sure?
Yeah, no. Still don't know.
Apparently, this is the progression, because my wife just went through this week, too. It's like slowly,
Getting a little better?
Yeah, she's getting used to it, liking the freedom a little bit more.
That's good to hear.
That's good.
Now, if I'm looking at it from a business standpoint, like from a job, I wouldn't mind it. Like, I wouldn't mind my employees working from home, because what I will say is I do get lost in work.
So you more productive or less productive at home?
I feel like I'm more.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong, I will get up from my desk a lot more. Like,
will you, or do you think, like, I get thinking that.
Then at work I do.
Okay.
Because at work,
but at work you could just sit there and like lean up and be like,
right.
"Yo, what's up?"
Right. But
and
then if I'm getting up from my desk, I'm walking a while away.
Yeah.
I'm going down and outside to my car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I'm on the 9th floor, so just the elevator ride alone can be
that takes
3
you
to
a while.
5
Yeah.
minutes sometimes waiting on it.
Okay.
So me running to the kitchen or running to the bathroom is like nothing compared to the job. So I will say I do get up a lot more, but I get lost to the point that it's like, oh yeah, I'm in my flow. I can't.
You don't want to break the rhythm.
Right. Yeah.
I hear you.
Can't
I'm kind of the same way. I've hit a point where I make the cognizant choice to take a break, and when I take a break, it's like a half hour or an hour break, and that's usually either to go down and hang out with my son and let my wife handle some of her conference calls or some of her like classroom stuff, and then or it's to go outside, like just to get out of the house for a little bit. As much as I enjoy being in the house, but
done with her conference calls in your half an hour break.
Actually, her circle time calls are like her. She's doing like small groups because she's a teacher, right? Mm-hmm, okay. So she's meeting with like 4 or 5 kids. So she's only meeting with those kids for like half an hour, though.
So she's online meeting with the little bastards.
Yep. Well, and I think I said this last time. My son is doing circle time for his preschool. Like, they're doing 30 minutes on Zoom or whatever.
Let me find out that we're now in the age where the little kindergartners get on a conference call.
They do, man. My 4-year-old who's in preschool does. Now, I'm not saying that happens at every preschool, but... And they're only doing it for half an hour a day. It's not like they're doing it all day. No, but he's hopping on, and he's getting his... What day of the week is it? What month is it?
What's it look like? The Brady Bunch with a whole bunch of little...
Yeah, exactly. He's got all of his little friends on it. I think I think that's good, though, because he gets to see his friends that he's not otherwise seeing. Like, my kid... Unlike me, my kid is a very social butterfly. Like, that dude he's friends with everybody. Everybody thinks he's hilarious. Like... So it's good for him to be able to see his friends.
He's not that funny.
He's not. He thinks he is. He thinks he is. By the way, I'm supposed to ask you. You want to cut his hair? Can you trim him up?
Yeah, I might be able to do that.
All right. I meant to ask you that before the show, but
you should have.
Fuck it. We'll do it on the show.
Yeah, I can do that. I can handle that. When you want to do that?
Well, let's talk about that afterwards.
Right. This is a podcast.
This is a podcast. I don't know that that's all that entertaining.
Right.
Go ahead, Matt.
I don't know. I'm pretty nice. Like, I'm fresh as shit right now. I'm pretty nice. Nice as a...
clean, man.
You know? My barber comes to me every time I call.
Fair.
Nice.
VIP status.
So I want to point out right now, and this is going to be weird, because I've got Cliff over here to my right, live in person, about 6 feet away, and I've got Matt on the TV over here. So if you see me change it, I might have to change up our layout on the screen so that I'm in the middle. Right, so that if I look this way, it's you, and I look that way, it's
smart. That's smart. Yeah, because I'm doing the same thing.
Pull up on the couch there. It'll work out.
Right.
You set up what?
What'd you say, Matt?
You guys can both cuddle up on the couch.
Oh, no.
I don't know about... We can't do that. Can't do that. Social distancing,
sir. And listen, I was practicing anti-social distancing even before this shit popped off, so I'm pretty good with get back, sir. Ma'am, get back. So what's going on? What's do we have any inadvertence? We haven't inadvertented in a while.
Couple of inadvertent thoughts. What about you, Matt? You had any inadvertent thoughts this week?
What qualifies as an inadvertent thought? I forget.
I would just think a thought that isn't normally how can I put it? Not a outside the box type I don't know how to describe it. Shit. Help me out, Mike. You listen. He said
I'm over here messing on the computer and trying to I'm literally trying to do the layout that we just talked about. I'm about
he
to flip
said the word. I said I guess that fits. I don't know. I didn't even look it up. I could have Googled what inadvertent was.
Inadvertent thought is just something that's a little off the wall. You got something, Matt? What do you got?
Inadvertent thought of the week. Human beings, at least in this country, are fucking lemmings, because I don't know how the hell Tiger King became the #1 fucking thing watched on YouTube or Netflix.
Oh, I do.
He said they're lemmings. Like we're all
just running off ledges. I'll tell you what.
Dude, I saw the funniest fucking meme of Trump being into a visor and coronavirus to play the Tiger.
He cut out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness.
Let's make sure. Damn. Are we back?
We're losing him a little bit.
Hello?
We're
All
back.
right. I think we got you back.
What did you say, though? I missed what you said.
Damn it. Now I gotta remember. No, I saw the damn meme the other day about the tiger shit that's going on, on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Trump leaning into an advisor at a still shot, and he's just like, "What do we do about the coronavirus? Play the Tiger King."
That shit is crazy though. So I'm assuming you've seen it then, Matt. Cliff, have you seen it? Have you watched an episode?
No.
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 I tell you what, white folk are crazy.
I don't need Netflix or
to know that.
Tiger King to tell me, or Oklahoma, mind you, to tell me that.
The cat's out of the bag on that one.
Oh, he's got the jokes.
No pun intended. But yeah, no. I do like his music.
You like the Tiger King music?
I did.
Wait.
He had some bangers. He had a couple bangers in there from what.
Did you like the one where he's standing up on top of whatever the hell emergency vehicle that was? Nobody actually knows.
Oh, I don't know. I don't listen.
You just listen to the music?
Right. Right.
You buy the album. Did you have this before the thing came out?
I would have bought the album. I would have bought if he's still on Apple iTunes, he may get some commissary money from me is all I'm saying.
Which one? Two.
I don't even know the names of them bitches, but he had some bangers, I will admit. I will admit that Tiger King had some clappers on his hands.
Yeah. Well, I just want to point out for those on the live stream, this is the problem is I get caught up on this stuff. Now I am. When I look to you, you're over on my right on the screen.
Did you just
and
do
when
that?
I look over. Oh, man. Except I think I got it backwards, didn't I? If I'm looking this way versus looking this way. God damn it.
Well, let's fix it afterwards. Content, ladies and gentlemen. Content.
Sorry, I expected you and Matt to be able to carry the show. I'm just tech support here.
Well, we didn't know you was going to be fiddling around with your keyboard over there. Otherwise, we'd have gave you some privacy.
Oh, goodness
God
gracious.
damn. So,
inadvertent thoughts. What you got?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
See, I hate to, I don't even know if it's inadvertent at this point, if my thought is inadvertent.
No.
And I hate to be serious about it, but this whole corona shit has pissed me. Well, it's not even the corona. This whole government has pissed me off to the fullest and let me know that it's a good chance that this coronavirus was population control. And I'm going to tell you why. So, before all this...
I need you to cite a source on that one.
Listen, I don't even have a source to cite, but this is what I'm going to tell you. You're dealing with a fool here, but what I will say is this. Back when this shit started popping off, before, when they started talking about quarantines, back before quarantine happened, like, we're talking 4 to 5 days, almost a week out from when they were saying, okay, we have to quarantine.
Okay.
My grandfather, of course, is high risk, has lung problems, all that. He's on oxygen. He takes a nebulizer at night, all that shit. So when I found out it was a virus that fucked with your lungs, I said, Pippaw, that's what I call him.
Yep, Pippaw.
You need to call the pharmacy and see if you can't get your prescriptions fast-tracked. Okay. They need to fast-track your prescriptions. Because if they're shutting everything down, you need to make sure, since you have a lung issue,
that you're taking
that you have everything that you need before this shit gets crazy.
Makes sense.
So, I
was
talked
Pippaw
to him.
stubborn about it, or did he do it?
No. Well, he probably was stubborn about it. I highly doubt he actually made the call. Listen, the fact that I'm the one that suggested he make the call is saying enough there.
Right.
I'm not thinking about shit like that, but for him, if this is what everybody's saying it is, you need to make sure you got what you need. So, long story short, he runs out. He goes to the doctor's office with his empty prescription to tell him he's out.
Okay.
They're closed for whatever reason. He can't get an appointment. So now they're saying they're not filling his prescriptions unless they see him. But the doctor's offices are closed. So they said we can schedule a teleconference.
Right. Which makes sense because there's a lot of places doing stuff like that.
Right.
Now.
But what we don't consider is the fact that you're dealing with old people.
Yeah.
Do you think they have smartphones and Wi-Fi and tablets and know how to work that shit?
No, their expectation, though, is that they've got people around them that can, I'm sure. But I'm with you. I don't think that's right.
Isn't it it's a quarantine?
True.
So what you're saying is
they have to be able to
put them at risk to come to their house
them.
to show them
how to do that shit.
Just to get a prescription. Listen, we're talking about nebulizers and shit like that.
Because Pitbull's still living on his own, right? Like, he's not in assisted living
with
or
his
anything.
Wife.
Yeah, right.
Right, but the whole thing that trips me out is we're not talking about prescription pills.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not talking about we're talking about breathing treatments.
Yeah.
Is it like a kind of thing?
You said what?
Is it like an inhaler kind of thing?
It's the treatment, like the actual thing you plug up and you put it in there and it turns into the vapor.
It was like a CPAP machine.
Inhale it.
Yeah, like full mask,
right.
everything. Yeah.
Like what is he gonna do with
like
that?
Like a respirator
right.
treatment.
You can't OD on it.
Right.
What is he gonna do with that you can't prescribe him 2 months in advance?
Well,
put a hold and say, do not release these prescriptions until April 1st. Do not release these prescriptions until May 1st.
Right.
Why can't you do that?
Well, there's no reason why they shouldn't be on like an auto renew. Yeah.
I think we're going to massive change medical industry following this.
It has to be.
I'm with you. I think there will be a massive change in the medical industry after all this. Like, and I think you're starting to see it now. Like, even DeWine has talked about like the FDA and how they won't approve Battelle's surgical mask desanitizer. Like, they can't get them to approve it for what it's capable of handling.
Oh, really?
Well, actually, I work with somebody that whose husband works at Battelle.
Okay.
And so I got a little bit of the inside scoop on this. They actually were bidding on how to come up with a faster test. They were bidding on the government contract, and they actually lost it to somebody else. And we're sitting there talking about it in the office the other day, and I'm just like, in this particular instance, why are we even bidding on this, man? Shouldn't it just be a free-for-all? Whoever comes out with the fastest, best test.
Well, no shit. And right now what you're seeing is the federal government outbidding states for medical supplies.
I just saw a thing where Trump was actually yelling at 3M. They make the N95 mask.
Right.
Well, he was yelling at them because they were still sending supplies out of the country to other, like Canada and other places that
Didn't he send the ones that we had already?
Well, no, I'm still sitting here yelling, thinking, dude, why would you want to burn bridges? It was exactly their, 3M's statement back to him. It was like, no, we're not going to stop shipping these things out because other people need them besides the United States.
Yeah, but if you're a U.S. based company, and I'm not one to get on the nationalist trip, but if you're a U.S.-based company, you better make sure the fucking U.S. is taken care of first.
I get that too, but didn't he send off all of those medical supplies to China before this happened?
I don't remember
aren't we
hearing
getting
that,
a lot of assistance from other countries as we speak? I mean, China, Russia, two of our, biggest adversaries at the moment.
Definitely.
Well, and that's starting to sound real Star Trek-like. In Star Trek, it's the aliens that unite us. Real life, it might be disease that unites us. The problem is that do you really trust China and Russia to have our best interests at heart when they're quote-unquote helping us?
Listen, I feel like this could be a very karmic event, and we could be getting smallpox blankets.
You might be right.
Dealing with...
I actually thought of what the hell, one of the last Mission Impossible movies. That the supervillain Lang, he's been the bad guy in all of them.
Now that I can't.
I got nothing for you.
I don't know Mission.
Anyway, no, he's been the new bad guy in the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie, Ghost Protocol. And he had this one statement in the most recent one, whereas his whole idea on global terror was the bigger the threat, the greater the peace, or the bigger the pain, the greater the peace, something along those lines.
Right.
So basically, I
agree.
I kind of had this thought since 9/11 that the only time you really see people coming together anymore, at least in the last 20 years. Is when shit gets really bad.
Right.
Well, no doubt, and that's why.
That's
why
feet off the coffee table.
Well, and you can talk about Independence Day. You can talk about Star Trek. You can talk about any number one of sci-fi series, and it's always some cataclysmic event that is what brings Earth together from a global perspective.
I don't care.
Because guess what? At the end of the day, we all human.
Right. Period. And sometimes you need shit to remind you that.
Right.
Because let's be honest, it doesn't matter what supreme race you are, everybody's dropping from this shit.
Right. Your tribe doesn't matter right now.
Everybody's dropping from this shit.
Does not. Everybody.
Everyone. We're all in this together.
Well, everybody's not dropping from it. That's.
I hear you. all sorts of races are dropping from it. It's
that's
mostly the at-risk and the elderly and blah blah blah.
That's
blah
what
blah.
I'm getting at. Not everyone, but
No, well, you're talking about this too. I mean, it's in the same family as SARS, and SARS had a mortality rate of like fucking 40%.
Right.
You know, so I mean, who's to say? And this is all happening. They had SARS, MERS, H1N1, you know, all in the last 20 years. You know, it seems like every 5-6 years or so we get a bad bug coming around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the point where we're at now, is because we're such a global society.
Well, what if you get the coronavirus, you know, COVID, SARS-2, you know, what they're calling this one, but with the lethality of SARS.
Yeah.
You know, that's a motherfucker.
Maybe that's 10 years.
Well, and that's what the predictions are right now, is that another world killer, another world beater will come around in about 10 years. And this one will take out close to probably 1 million people by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And then the next one that hits about 10 years later will take out 2 to 3 million. But at the same time, 2 to 3 million, when we're looking at billions of people on the planet.
Yeah, I'm thinking like in the tens.
You thinking it's billion? Or you thinking it's tens of millions? Or you thinking it's a billion?
I'm thinking like if it comes back, if it's next year, like if it, why wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't it be?
It's fair point.
The only argument I could make to that, at least in my head, like arguing with myself, is maybe we have an immunity.
Yeah.
Somewhat of an immunity to that point, to where when that hits,
by that point,
it doesn't take as many people. But other than that, like, you got to think that it was 1 point something million in the flu of 1918.
Right, and you had about half as many people as you do now.
Right, and better medical. You know what I mean? Like, more available medical is what I'm getting at, not better.
There's a flip side to this, and so I heard somebody talk about this a long time ago. Somebody from a pharmaceutical company talking about the diseases of the world and what they put their money into. And there are so many diseases, and this is going to be parallel this, and how we're so unprepared for it. Is that there's just not enough money in stockpiling vaccines or building potential vaccines or trying to cure things that aren't necessarily threats right this moment, that they just don't bother doing it because there's no money in it.
I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit because you've been blowing money on a war you've instigated for years now. We don't need all those billions you put into the military every year. Like, every war we've gone into, we've started ourselves for one way or another.
No doubt.
And haven't used half the resources that you put your money into. Like, you're making stealth bombers. When have we dropped? What are we using stealth bombers on Iraq? We're not. No. At this point, we're just Jay Leno buying cars and stocking them in our garage. That's the flip side,
is that this goes back to who owns our political system. It is the military-industrial complex. And at the end of the day, we are happy to spend 10 times more on the military than any other developed nation in the world. And right now we're realizing that, hey, maybe we should be spending more money on our infrastructure and our health care and, workers' rights and that kind of shit. Because guess what? That's what's going to tank. That's what's going to drop off.
Right.
And it's like,
right. I agree 110%.
So we that's a serious one, but I think we got two fools agree on that one.
I think that's an agreement there.
We're on the same page, but you have the pharmaceutical companies are private institutions. So where they spend their money is up to them. Now they get a lot of financial maybe not backing, but they get a lot of financial go-ahead from the federal government.
Right.
Because they have no bid contracts. There's no what do they call it? they don't negotiate pricing for medication. You know, the pharmaceutical companies have just like an, you know, they can charge whatever they want, and we don't bother, you know, trying to, you know, maybe outsource it to somebody else. They just like, okay, Pfizer charges this, you know, that's how EpiPens went from like $200 a pop to $1,200.
Right, which is awful.
Right.
My daughter needs those like a bitch, and goodness gracious.
She allergic to everything.
Everything under the sun.
That's no good.
But it's still a private company, you know, and they're not at the behest of the government.
And then where did that come from? You feel what I'm saying?
No, there's incentives, you know, and that's what I'm talking about is the economic incentives and the way we're structuring our society.
I'm talking about these allergies. Like, these kids are allergic to everything nowadays.
That's because they're not exposed to enough when they're younger. We do such a big job on, like, protecting them and all that, and guess what that drives? No immunity to nothing.
Right. Because you know what's crazy is everything I was allergic to as a child, I ate or was involved. They said I was allergic to grass. Doesn't everybody that roll around in grass itch?
Yeah, no doubt.
Shut up, bitch. I should revoke your medical license. You sound dumb. Allergic to eggs. I eat them all the time. Hard boiled. All day long. Every kind of egg you can think of. Just found out flu shot. Couldn't have that. Survived that for 17 years. Revoke your fucking medical license. Everything that I was allergic to was not a big deal. Nowadays, I didn't even know what an EpiPen was until I had a child.
For real?
Never heard of EpiPen till my daughter was born.
Okay. I hear you.
We weren't stabbing people in the hips back when in the day. Listen, if you were allergic and you ate something.
I think the only context I had for EpiPens when I was younger was a bee sting.
Did you ever see somebody?
I did, and that's the only reason I remember it from when I was younger, is I saw a kid get stung by a bee and had to be... I think I
was told that I was allergic to bees too. Got stung by bees too?
Well, you still here.
These motherfuckers don't know shit. They're just saying things to make money.
$12 for the damn thing.
You said what?
You might not be here if you got to pay $1,200.
Listen, if I had to pay $1,200 for the thing, I think even as a child I'd have said, you can have another one. Let me go. You know what I'm saying? It's a little too expensive.
Going back to that farm, you know.
Let's treat it like Corona. If I make it, treat it like the Spartans back in the day.
The
if
Rona.
I'm strong enough, I'll survive, baby. Don't waste that $1,200 and stab me in the hip. You may need that.
You might need it. You may
need that 12 more than you need me. $1,200, shit. That's when you gotta see which kid you like the most.
Right.
$1,200. Which one is? Oh, I don't know which one to stab in the hip. They're all allergic to everything nowadays. I like this one the most. Kind of shit is that?
Alright, just give half a dose and see if that works. You know,
right, just one quick one, just two shanks. They both walk away, grabbing their ass with half of their allergies calmed down.
Now, going back to your point you just made about, you know, the doctor should just get his ass smacked. Like, there's an anecdote. Somebody, not an anecdote, but you know, just a noticing of, you know, what do you call the doctor that graduates first in his class and the doctor that graduates last in his class?
Doctor.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a whole range of fucking doctors out there. You know?
No doubt.
Maybe you got the bad one.
Man, I don't know. I think we're giving too much credit. I think that nurses get less credit.
They really do.
They do. And honestly, in a lot of cases, they should get more.
Definitely.
Dude, we just had our baby not too long ago. You know, it's 6 months old, and when we were in
congrats.
thank when we were in the delivery ward, we we finally got the bill. By the way, it's funny how this all breaks down.
Right.
We saw the doctor for literally 30 minutes, grand total.
Right.
Over 3 days in the delivery ward. It was a long fucking delivery. And
God damn.
We had like 4 different nurses at 12-hour shifts each one, and like the nurses were spectacular.
God bless your wife.
That shit. It was all nurses, and the doctor just shows up and he pops his head in like once a day for 5 seconds, and is like, "Hey, how's everything going? Okay,
everything all right? Yeah,
right."
But it's all nurses running it, and then he shows up at the end, you know, ta-da! Here's your baby.
No, and I'm with you on that. Like, Andrew was in NICU for 10 days or whatever. I can tell you, I saw the doctor twice.
For that 10
That
days. And I know you were there.
Right, and we were there every day.
Right.
Like, and I was there 6-7 hours a day.
Right.
$3,000 what that motherfucker billed for being in the room for 30 minutes.
I believe it. I'll tell you what. Cheers to our nurses, because they're the real heroes out there. The nurses, med techs, all that stuff. Because they're the ones that are actually handling shit. Not fucking doctors. They're not on the front lines like that.
But I actually just talked
Evangeline.
And she was saying that she does a lot of taxes for, and their take home at the end of the year is actually not as great as you think.
What, for nurses or for doctors?
For doctors.
Okay.
That $3,000 they charge, about 2/3 of that goes into just fucking malpractice insurance.
Oh yeah, no, it goes all into the administrative costs. Mm-hmm. And that's always the argument when people talk about universal health care, that the biggest issue is, guess what? You get rid of a lot of that insurance type stuff.
You know what? Cheers to the doctors too, because
fuck the doctors.
Listen, as much as I would love to say fuck the doctors, you know what? Cheers to them too, because it takes a special person to even want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to deal with that?
You know, you like spend 8 years in school, go $300,000 into debt. And you spend the next 15 years digging your way out of that debt.
Shit, 8 is if you're lucky. You may be in there for 12.
Right.
My whole thing is, listen, I would love to save lives for a living. Not like that, though. I'm not trying to cut you open and go inside you. And let me be a firefighter.
Paramedic. There you go.
Paramedic. Couldn't be a cop. Would kill myself before I was a cop. But
well, I try and make the system better. It's best to do it from the inside.
Would kill myself before I was a cop. But I just feel like, what? For what? Like, why? Like, okay, maybe a detective. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're solving something. I'm not about to be harassing people, giving out tickets and, like, come on. Come on now. I'm not a hall monitor. I'm not a glorified hall monitor.
Well, I mean, I've heard, Rogan, one of his statements, I don't agree with him on everything. Not even half of things anymore. But he does have one comment on police that I completely agree with, and it is a job that human beings just can't do. No human being can be in the position of being a street cop. And especially being it's a weird system where you can be, the less time you're in it, you have less history and bias to draw on.
Right.
But you also are inexperienced and are going to do things wrong.
Right.
But the longer you're in it, you start having your biases.
Right.
You're seeing the world through, skewed lens.
Right.
And that fucks with the way you're interacting with people.
Do you know that? Yeah.
So there's no winning. You get, fresh cop, it was like a nice...
But for who, though? Is it no winning for the cop? Because I definitely have no sympathy for that, even though
anybody wins. Nobody wins.
Right. You selected that. You feel what I'm saying? You selected that job knowing what you just explained. But us, the people, we just living. We didn't ask for you to fuck with us.
A lot of them just fall into it, or a lot of them seek it out for the pension program, or a lot of them seek it out for,
Is that what it is? The pension program?
Oh, yeah, it's the pension program. It has nothing to do with, the power dynamic of it.
One of many things that people get into it for. I mean, how many cops have you ran into that are complete assholes?
The majority of them.
Yeah. I maybe met 3 cops in my life that were kind of cool.
Well, and the 3 that I know, I didn't meet them in their line of work. I met them I coached with them, or I was friends with their kid.
I met 2 in the line of work that could have been bad. That
ended up being all right.
And still to this day, I would hope the best for them.
Oh yeah.
If my father was a cop, I'd never speak to him again. Ever. If my father was a cop and he was struggling, like was hanging from a cliff, I might walk past you.
Hanging from a cliff? Sorry,
if Michael was a cop,
you would hate me. By the way, hey, we got 4 or 5 viewers. This is like a new record for the live stream.
They love Matt.
Feel free to give us a shout out on the chat, and we'll answer anything you throw out in the chat. That's
and now
what
they
we do
get
on
to
this
see
show.
and now they get to see his handsome face.
They do. They get to see his pretty mug.
If we get 10 viewers, he'll strip and take his hat off.
He'll take his hat off.
Just play.
It's all right. Speaking of cops. What about that cop car Matt's got in the background there?
Listen, I almost asked him to lift his shirt up before we started the podcast.
You check the wire?
But then I realized
he's wearing a wire.
We were wiring ourselves. So I was like, I'll let him slide. He can slide on this one. Man.
That's the old whip. I retired the cop car.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, truck.
What's wrong with the cop car? It wasn't turbocharged.
No, well, it's actually not a cop car. It's a standard Crown Vic, not an Interceptor.
All right. That's what you want to tell us. It's all right.
Right.
I think for 5 years is a great vehicle, but got the kid now. It was starting, it more came down to economics. It's got a couple of things starting to clunk in it, and it's only worth like $2,500.
The kid's gonna love to talk over the CB radio, so you should have kept it.
Well, I'm still struggling with it because it's still a hell of a car. It's cheap as shit to work on. Like, there's a million of them in the junkyard. So
I used to have one.
Maybe just hang on to it, pimp it out, give it to Hendrix when he gets older.
There you go.
I used to have one.
Dude, it's a tank. I'd feel great putting him in it.
Right, he'd be safe.
Listen, the only thing that I will say
How many times did you wreck your Crown?
Once. In the one time that I did wreck it.
And you were safe, weren't you?
I was safe. But the feature, it's a kill switch on that.
What?
It's a kill switch. Well, on the police versions. It's a kill switch. So if you hit something going too fast, like if you hit a pothole or you hit a curb,
it'll cut out the engine.
The engine stops, the wheel locks up, everything cuts out, and that's how the.
That's your excuse.
Listen, there's no excuse about it. I didn't even know anything about it until the mechanic that worked on it after that was like,
you fucked this up.
I was like, I didn't know I had a kill switch. Okay.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
that's why I couldn't push it out of the street.
What's popping up on your screen here, man?
I don't know.
On whose screen?
I hit the wrong button on my little my portable keyboard, and it popped up my music or some shit. So, my bad.
Better the music than the porn.
That's true. It could have popped up the porn window. I mean, I hope I don't have anything open on my desktop.
If it's popping it up.
Speaking of porn, Any Corona porn updates this week, my friend?
Corona and chill now.
Oh,
so Michael, you are incorrect. Yes, there's a lot of people with masks having casual sex.
Okay.
May or may not keep that quiet. Corona porn.
What's your update this week? This is a weekly thing during the outbreak, so you got to tell me.
Casual Corona and chill is what they're calling.
Oh, is that the update?
Right.
It's Corona and chill.
Corona and chill. So now it's not porn anymore.
Have you seen the meme or the video?
This is a lifestyle.
That like there's two. It's usually a girl, and it's like quarantine self at home, or get that dick, and like the girl just like points to the quarantine self at home and she walks off. And then she crawls back, and you can see her reflection in the stove or whatever.
I know what you're talking. No, but I know what you're talking about from the dude, where it was like skinny girls, thick bitches, and he'll walk over here, and then he'll run back over to the. Yeah, I saw that.
The one I saw was
that
crawling.
Funny.
Was in the kitchen,
that
and it was like quarantine or social distancing over here, getting that dick over here,
right.
And she crawled back, and you could see her reflection on the stove in the kitchen.
That might be funny. Listen, what I say last week, clout chasers. I'm just glad y'all dumb motherfuckers aren't licking toilet seats. That's all I can say. Keep crawling across, getting that dick.
Do what you got to do.
Right. At least it's just you and that dick. Keep your tongue off a toilet seat, you dumb sons of bitches.
I wouldn't know about this. Is there like gangbang fucking coronavirus shit going on?
I don't know.
Listen,
is there gangbang coronavirus porn, Cliff?
Check.
Cliff's gonna check right now for us. So Matt and I will keep the conversation going while Cliff does that. But
don't think that I can't do two things at one time.
I honestly haven't seen anything else good. The best thing I saw was my update from last week, which was girls fucking on top of 150, 200 rolls of toilet paper. That shit had me cracking up.
Coronavirus. Okay. Coronavirus corn. Okay.
Corona. Is it ridiculous that toilet paper thing is still going on?
Is it though? Because I've been able to find it recently. Like this week.
I went into Kroger last week, and the shelves were still fucking.
I went to 2 Krogers today that had empty.
Did you go to the one on Main and Bexley?
Where's that?
The one on Main
okay.
Street.
No. I went to the one
on in Whitehall
in Maine.
Yeah.
And then the Broad.
Okay.
James.
I haven't bought a single fucking roll since this started.
I mean, I haven't either. I've given my sister money too. She has. But usually it's like, I don't even want to say it on the podcast. It don't matter. It's only a couple people listening. Go to the Dollar Trees.
I thought it was Matt giving us the tip on the Chinese markets last week.
Go to the Dollar Tree. Listen,
to the Dollar.
Don't tell. Listen, fans of the podcast, white people.
All 4 or 5 of you that are listening right now, listen to Cliff.
White people specifically.
White folks are...
Keep it to yourself because y'all have the money to buy it out. We don't, okay? Keep it to yourself. Buy your shit and get Ghost. Don't tell your friends, because I'm giving you a jewel here. Because if I still haven't gotten toilet paper yet. If I go tomorrow, I'm lazy, probably won't get out till Sunday, and it's gone, I'm going to say... Mike, who was listening?
See what I will tell you.
I'm not gonna do anything to you physically, but I'm coming for some toilet paper. Is all.
See, what I will tell you is I went to the Kroger on Main and Nelson, or Main and Alum Creek, whatever you want to look at it as, and they had an entire aisle. Now it was all 6-pack rolls of the same brand. But they had an entire aisle stocked with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. The 2 Krogers I went to had no toilet paper.
No. So that means people are still being assholes about it.
Toilet paper.
That's my thing. Like, luckily, we had stocked up before any of this shit happened. We went to Costco and had like a 24-pack. But we're just now starting to burn through it, and it's like, okay, we've got 2 rolls left from the 24-pack, so we bought 2 of those 6-packs.
Follow the one dude's mathematics. He broke it down sheets per shit.
See, the problem is when you have a 4-year-old that has stopped up your toilet twice during all of this shit because he put too much toilet paper in
That's when you just hold him over the toilet and punch him in the gut. Okay, so he gets all that shit up out of him.
Oh no, Matt's got his hand up. What do you got, Matt?
What are sales on bidets doing right now?
They are through the roof. Bidets. That's some white folk shit.
I did. It is, but I did hear a lot about that though. And it's about to not be white folk shit after the end of this. It's about to be a whole lot. It's about to be a whole lot of niggas that know a lot about
that actually was the
bidets.
biggest. That was actually the biggest thing, or the funniest thing. That was my other inadvertent thought this weekend. It wasn't mine. It was a meme that I saw, and it was like, Demolition Man was right. Going to Taco Bell is a big deal. There's no toilet paper, so they had to learn to use the 3 seashells. Like Wesley Snipes, Stallone, Demolition Man.
I remember that.
Do you remember the 3 seashells?
No, I don't.
He went to go take a shit, and there's no toilet paper. There's just 3 seashells, and they never explain it the whole fucking movie. So instead of like learning how to use or knowing what the 3 seashells does, he just cusses a lot so he can get the citations for swearing, and he uses that as toilet paper.
I do remember that.
Demolition Man got it right. That's the only movie that got the future right.
Well, listen.
There's self-driving cars. There's touchscreens in cars, and there's no toilet paper. And everybody's excited about going to Taco Bell when they can.
All I can say.
Rob Schneider was in that, and he laughed at Sylvester Stallone about it.
Yes.
Like, what did you used to use in the past? Like handfuls of wadded paper.
Oh, he was driving the car, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes, I remember. I do remember. That was my dad.
How have we referenced? We've referenced Demolition Man in like 3 different instances over the last 3 weeks.
Have we?
Yeah, because the other one we talked about, because you talked about like we're not going to touch each other anymore, and I brought up Demolition Man in the sense of
right, and I
sex.
said Barbarella.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
So if you haven't seen Demolition Man, you need to go watch it right now. And guess what?
Maybe.
It's worth the watch because
maybe
it's
I need to
entertaining.
rewatch it.
Fucking classic.
You remember the last time I remember watching Demolition Man?
What's that?
When in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
at your aunt's house. You remember that? We were watching the Ohio State.
It was probably like Ohio State.
It was like the Big Ten championship, or
yeah,
it
something like that. Because it was after. It was the week after we finished our season, or it was the week that we finished our season. Right, because
we went to your.
So it might have been Ohio State, Michigan.
Was it?
It probably was, because if you came up in November, usually our last week of the season at CMU was the same week as the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably what it was.
Let me keep my mouth shut. I'll keep my mouth shut. But that was a party.
It was. We had fun.
A party. That was a party. Ladies and gentlemen.
Aunt Michelle, if you're out there. Uncle Chauncey. Cheers.
Love y'all. Be safe.
Uncle
Quarantine. Stay home.
That's my favorite. The Chaunce. So for anybody that doesn't know me, the Chaunce is my one black uncle. Legit. Like, and the Chaunce is a good dude.
Your second black uncle.
You're not my black uncle. you're my black brother.
That's what I love.
My first black aunt is Jeannie. My second black aunt was Gay Steele. I might give Authornia my first black uncle. Rest in peace, my man. Shelby, if you listening, we love you, Pops.
Rest in peace. I cheers the wall because I'm your first black uncle.
No, you're my black brother. Come on now. Uncle David, speaking of uncles, Uncle David said he might call in, so we'll see what happens. Matt, you might get bumped for Uncle David. I'm just gonna let you know.
Well, we gotta reconnect.
We'll call you back after. Actually, we might be able to get you both at the same time. I don't know. I don't know how this shit works.
Let's Brady Bunch this bitch.
I mean, I try. I might be able to just get like a room going on Skype. I don't know.
Let's Brady Bunch this bitch. Let's get squares. Let's Hollywood squares this motherfucker.
You gonna ask me to do all that on the fly? I don't know if I can do all that on the fly.
The way you.
We've got a lot of things going right now, though. I tell you what.
I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it.
We're doing all right. I don't know if Matt still has video, if he can actually still see us, if the screen share is still working. But
is it?
You're like this big.
Oh, because you're on like an iPad or a phone or something.
No, I got you on the iPad, and I got the full iPad, but I'm getting like the share screen from your screen.
Right. So you're getting the share. So he's getting the shared screen,
and then the one up top.
So it's this like scaled down to this.
Yeah.
I do what I can, man. I tried to get you a live video feed, but our other camera kept fucking up on us. So, and I lost the wide shots. We don't have any wide shot tonight, but I still think what we got going. I mean, shit. I still got 3 fucking cameras going. So
it's work in progress.
Right.
It
Mike,
is
you're
what
not
it is.
shit. Your technical skills are awful. Step them the fuck up.
I'm gonna throat punch you.
Rita, help us.
She's one of the 4.
Right, that's the one. That's the only one I count on.
Yeah,
help us. We love you.
She came and helped out on trivia night since you bailed,
man,
you motherfucker.
And you know what? I was gonna make a surprise cameo.
I was waiting for you to.
Did you think I was going to? Honestly,
I was hoping you were.
Out cold.
Out cold. I believe it.
I told you I was. Tired.
I don't think we're gonna do the trivia night as a live stream anymore.
Why
I think
not?
what we're gonna do is do a Google Chat or a Skype meeting.
Well, I kind of think that we should do it as a live stream.
I mean, here's the deal: is that a live stream? There's I can't account for the delay, but doing it as a Google Chat or a Skype, like I could do it as a Skype. And I could record the Skype, and if we wanted to upload it, we could. We don't have to. But the live stream, because
I watched the one that y'all did without me, and I was partially interested on watching.
Were you?
Yeah.
But my problem is that I don't like the fact that it's like a 10-15 second delay. So when you're playing,
well, see, I didn't know. That's what I'm saying.
But you weren't playing.
Right.
Like if you had been playing,
yeah, right.
You probably wouldn't.
I didn't notice it because I wasn't playing.
I also don't think I can carry a show by myself. I mean, I can if it's about something I'm passionate about, and it's only 15-20 minutes. I can't go for an hour by myself. I'm not that entertaining, and I'm fine to admit that.
Very few people can.
I think that you're
right.
Bill Burr is like the only person I've seen that can do
I
this.
fucking love Bill. No, Theo Von. Theo Von amazes me how he can do a show by himself.
Well, and like Trevor Noah and John Oliver can do about 20 minutes to half an hour.
But they got points.
And they're entertaining.
They got points.
Oh, yeah, no, they've got videos and shit going behind them.
Like when you hear somebody just going off, just talking.
Well,
and
it's also scripted, too. I mean, they
no
have
doubt.
Like writers, you know?
Well, and when I did the One Fool's Opinion, like, trust me, that shit was, like, at least halfway scripted out.
Was it?
It
like,
was.
You got it together like that?
Well, no, I had, like, a page and a half worth of notes.
These are my notes when I...
Yeah, I kind of the whole point of the,
That's what I did. Just a name.
Is it supposed to be magic? It's
for people.
To look,
right.
Completely...
I just write a couple pieces of shit down. And then I say, oh, that'll get me ranting about something.
No, I'm with you.
You know?
Typically that's what I do for this show, but that's because I know if I start it, I know you and I and Matt and everybody, we can all play off of that.
You got backup.
Right. I mean,
right.
You know you got somebody covering your six.
Which is why I get so frustrated when you're an asshole and, like, don't contribute to the conversation.
Have a better conversation. Have a better conversation that's not somewhere out in a galaxy far, far a fuck away. How about that?
I think he's trying to talk about Star Trek, which boo that.
Listen, I don't mind it. I don't mind Star Trek. I'm just not familiar.
Well, Star Trek, yes.
Same
Star Wars,
as-
everybody should be familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Star Wars. And you know I am. It's just the newer ones that they made.
No, and I'm with you. I was actually on a virtual happy hour today where my buddy Jeff, his wife came on the happy hour. He was like, she was basically asking me to explain like Kylo and Rey and some of the storyline that they had going on with the new shit. And I was just
no
like,
idea. I know.
Not a big deal.
Star Wars,
like,
I know Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those are the three.
The new stuff explained, but the old stuff, the 1970s stuff, come on.
Yeah, that's the only.
No,
thing
yeah,
I know.
Everybody should know that story.
Right.
Everybody should.
Right.
It's the most modern mythology we have.
I hate outer space shit, and I know all the Star Wars.
You know that Darth
Star
Vader
Wars.
is Luke's father. You know that Luke and Leia are brother and sister. Like, you know the basics. And that Yoda is like the grand master that teaches everybody, right?
I mean, that's it. I mean, I feel like.
Happy I will, yes.
All right, we're going to get in some nerd shit here. Worry.
Okay.
How that Baby Yoda is not actually Yoda.
No, Yoda it is not.
Dude, I don't understand it. So obviously he's the same species.
Species he is, yes.
So is that particular species, like,
I gotta piss. I'm gonna let y'all talk while I piss.
Flip it. Check it out.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
No, seriously. My question on this is like his particular species more prone to the Force.
That's what I think they will get to, is that his species is more Force sensitive. And I don't necessarily think that they've gotten there yet and that they've explained that yet, but I think that that's where it's going, is that at the end of the day, they are the quote unquote Yoda babies are the Yoda species has more Force sensitivity than most species in the galaxy.
Okay. I mean, they really did kind of. I mean, I never read the books, And did you know the books were not written by George Lucas?
It depends what books, but yes, for the most part, no. They were like Timothy Zahn's done a bunch, and there's been a bunch of different authors, but very few of them are canon per se.
Your idea was written for a screen.
Say that again.
And so when they got into like Phantom Menace,
Yep.
and they started about Anakin and being the Jedi Jesus, you know, the Immaculate Conception, and then they started putting like an actual count on the Force, like a midichlorian.
The midichlorians and all that shit. Yeah,
that's where I started being like, get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm with you on that, and I think most hardcore fans would agree with you. Like, midichlorians never made sense. They never thought that was something they should do, etc. So,
is this an old topic we can move on?
No, but what I learned is I need to get like me and you a shot together, and then you and Cliff a shot together.
We'll figure it out, man. We're
This is egregious.
Egregious. What's egregious is the fact that I spilled half a beer over here, but it's alright.
As long as you don't electrocute us, look at that.
Right.
Looks like a puddle of shit.
What are you gonna do?
So what I miss?
We talked about Yoda and shit.
Are we done?
For now.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab something over here that I can wipe up some of the stuff that I spilled with, so I'll be back in a second.
Handle your business. So my biggest question is, gripe, all that is rescheduling.
Rescheduling what?
Concerts and what have you?
Oh, fuck the concerts. NFL draft, NBA draft, like the college season has ended.
Why do they?
How are we gonna get? How are we gonna?
There's gonna be 2020 will be an asterisk, and it'll say you'll have an AP champion, and that'll be it. NBA, you'll have an AP or Associated Press champion. That'll be it.
But the kids still have to come out next year, so all of the top players. Like you never got a tournament. We never got an NCAA tournament to see who was the best. You know what I mean? Like who's?
Well, sometimes
you got plenty of game film though.
Like 3 months of lockdown, people are gonna have plenty of time to figure it out.
See, I don't. I mean, I understand what both of you are saying, but it's not.
You got plenty of game film,
but it's not football though. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Are you talking about basketball?
Right.
Nobody fucking cares about basketball.
Who cares about football?
Football is America's pastime, Clifford.
I'm ready for baseball to start back up.
I'm sure.
Over football.
Everybody's ready for any kind of sport to start back up right now.
Mike is saying here is right. They're going to call 2020 just an asterisk, didn't happen, and they're going to roll off of 2019.
Because guess what? When it comes to the draft and all that, there's no reason they can't still move forward with the draft on any sport.
But my whole thing is you get your top 10 from the draft out of that tournament. Once you have the competition playing against each other, you see who's real and who's not. Right now, it's just we're looking at kids punching a heavy bag. And punching a heavy bag and being in an actual fight are two different things. You may look great punching that heavy bag.
Yeah.
But once you have somebody punching back at you, do you still look as good?
No.
We don't know. So when it comes to that NBA draft, how do we know who goes where?
Right. Right.
We never even got a chance to see you compete yet. They didn't even finish out their conference season before this happened.
No.
Yeah, Mark Madness all got canceled out.
So we don't even know who finished at the top of the conference, let alone what player's going to go where. And I feel like it's the same. Well, no, it's not the same for football because they were done.
Right. Football was done.
Yeah, they were done.
There's no reason they can't handle the draft for football the same as they would.
That'll be interesting to see if they'll, whether or not they'll be allowing 100,000 people to gather together in a stadium come September.
Well, I don't think they should. I don't think they should do it like that. I think it should be like a graduation in high school, where you can have your parents plus 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 6 feet.
Right, like exactly, and have 2 seats between each other, unless you're married or relatives. Then y'all can sit as close as y'all want, but stay away from everybody else. You said what?
Now they definitely got to throw the peanuts at you.
Yeah, listen. The fuck? Because, I mean, you can't... but let me put it like this. The biggest issue that I have with the rescheduling is the Olympics. How are we going to do that?
How do we get back on track? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's huge because these kids have a year that is their prime. And
that's absolutely correct.
And they're done, so that's and they're not even getting paid.
And you know what's crazy is it's funny that you even said that. My selfish ass didn't even look at it in that way. I was looking at it as me and my daughter don't get to watch it this year.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? Like, that was my daughter's shit.
Well, no, did she like that? That's awesome.
The diving, the gymnastics. We watched all that shit. We talked about it and what it took to do that.
Yeah, no doubt.
All that. And now it's like 4 years later when I can actually inspire because you're old enough.
She had to have been, what, 4 or 5, and now she's 7,
9.
8, 9.
Well, she'll be 10 this year, but...
Okay. So she was 5, 6, and now she'll be 9, 10.
Right. Now it's over. Now what? Now, where's the inspiration for all the young kids that...
But that's the thing, though.
That
Is
shit
they're
changes
talking.
people.
They're talking about just moving it back a year. So,
Right,
So
right.
I think you'll be all right.
But as he said, a lot of ages matter in a lot of sports.
Especially in these sports.
Boxing, 1 year can kick you out of being able to or into
to
being
handle
able
it.
to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then it's like you lost your shot.
Right.
No,
well,
you're ready, and I'm sure you will get a lot of athletes blaming this.
Oh, you know it.
But at the same time, if you're an elite athlete,
I would if I was an athlete too.
If you were an elite athlete and shit is getting pushed back 6 months,
it gives you more time to prepare.
It gives you more time to prepare.
But
and
for
on
the
top
older
of that,
athletes, you're coming out of your prime.
But
that's 6 months out of my prime.
Don't disagree. But I think at the same time, like when you are at a point in your career where you are able to compete at that level, a year shouldn't make a difference.
Seriously,
like you should be able to relax. You should be able to readjust your protocol or whatever it is you're going through. Like
I give you that.
Having.
Yeah, I look at it in terms of like MMA. Okay, so you have guys in their 30s going out there, late 30s.
Older than that.
Going out there and beating the fuck out of guys in their 20s.
Right.
Right.
I mean, like.
The Coutures of the world.
Right.
I see the move from 21 to 22, not being that big of a move and the diminishing of your skills or abilities versus, going from 39 to 40.
I mean, it depends, though. It depends. Everybody's body's different. It's like the corona. Some people can't breathe. Some people aren't affected.
The goddamn Rona.
So if you're old as shit and you're going through it and you're not affected, then you must be asymptomatic. But a lot of people are.
I just watched an interview with Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm.
He got tested positive back at the beginning, like beginning of March, like that. He's like what, 50, 54, 55?
He's in his 50s. He is in his 50s. But from the sound of it.
With asthma, by the way.
But from the sound of it, he didn't really have symptoms like that.
He has zero symptoms. Zero.
I used to have asthma back in the day.
And you know what?
Like, I used to be on breathing treatments. I used to have to take them 3 times a day type shit.
I work with a guy, man. He's in his 60s. He's got asthma, and he just fucking is taking a month off right now. Today was his last day. This shit's ramping up.
You know what's crazy about my asthma, though, is once I started smoking, I never carried an inhaler again.
The irony.
Like, I was smoking Black and Milds. I was smoking cigarettes and Black and Milds. Weed, cigarettes, Black and Milds. And once that happened, I never carried another inhaler. I was still playing sports. I was still doing I never had an issue. And I was taking breathing treatments like albuterol 3 times a day. To the point that sometimes I would have to take my breathing treatment to school to take it at lunch.
Going back to the stats, we all know people that, never smoked a cigarette in their life and die of lung cancer. And then we know people that, smoke every day from the time they were 10 and live to be 90.
Right.
Just crazy.
No, I agree.
It's all luck of the draw at the end of the day.
For all experiments of one.
But remember back in the day when we were like in like the grade school, they said what, 1 in 1,000 people had asthma?
Maybe.
And me, Shelby, and Gordon all had.
Right, all my best friends.
Right, all 3 of us.
Not me though, so
That was a mean clique, huh? That was all.
That was
all asthmatics.
Do you remember that? That was
gang.
The 31 gang.
Right.
3 asthmatics and 1 white boy.
Right. Is that the new nigga? Asthmatics is the new nigga. 3 asthmatics.
I don't think it was asthmatics was the original principle. But
when we're talking,
now that we reflect,
when we're talking, Eric Garner, maybe asthmatics is the new nigga.
Damn. Oh,
is that right? Did I get that right?
Garner? You're going to go Garner?
Did I get that right?
I can't breathe. Can't breathe.
Okay, I must have got that right.
You got that one right. Shit. That was cold, dude. He just got it.
I'm just saying. Maybe asthmatics is the new nigga.
Fuck.
We'll see how we come out of this goddamn quarantine.
Right?
It might be a lot of people that can't breathe after this shit. Whites
can't breathe,
included.
don't shoot.
Right.
Another perfect example. I mean, coronavirus. You have, like some people in their like mid 30s, even the 20s. Like I just heard about this kid who is an Olympic swimmer, who got hit by the coronavirus and it damn near killed him.
You never know nowadays. You never know.
I mean, these are rare cases. These are rare cases. You look at the stats. And 95, I just looked at it today. I pulled it up again right now. I'm reading the exact numbers. But worldwide, 95% of people, the active cases, are mild conditions to asymptomatic.
Right.
95%.
And then what's the blood type, too?
I don't know about blood type. They didn't break it down like that. But
you haven't heard the shit that they've been saying about blood type? They've been saying that if you're an O blood type, you're most likely to be asymptomatic, or you have the lesser of the symptoms.
O negative, bitch.
I'm O negative with you.
Oh, you're both O neg. I'm O positive. Well, that explains why none of us ever get sick.
Are you O positive?
I am O positive.
Hey, maybe we could have done this in person.
I don't know. Matt's still out in the world. I don't know about all that shit.
But they said that O more susceptible to be asymptomatic or have the lesser of the symptoms.
But I think that's
the worst.
I think that's true of any disease, because I'll tell you what.
Because we have the blood cells are stronger with
Right, and on top of that, like personal experience. And I was talking about this with my mom and my wife.
Why, huh? I never thought about that.
I was talking about this with my mom and my wife this week. Throughout my junior year of high school through my sophomore year of college or junior year of college, every girl that I dated for more than like a couple of dates ended up getting mono.
So you're the carrier.
I'm the super carrier, apparently. And it's the way I used to test my my relationships was if you could survive the mono or you could not get infected by the mono, you were worthy.
That's your brother, Matt. I'm not claiming him this time.
Not my blood.
I'll tell you what.
I'm not claiming him this time.
It was the defense mechanism to test the women that I dated if they were were they worthy.
Oh,
were they worthy?
Oh shit! He said a defense mechanism. Oh man.
Well, the good news is I don't think any of my ex-girlfriends listen to this shit, so that's good.
Well,
not.
And hopefully, your wife never caught mono.
Well, no, that was actually the thing. This was part of the conversation this week. Was she never got it, so she must have been worthy.
or is she an O blood type?
No, she's not an O blood type.
Okay, just a question. Oh, that's funny though.
I am the super carrier, is what it comes down to.
Patient zero.
There are at least two or three girls that you know that we went to school with that ended up with mono. I'll put it that way. They recovered eventually, though. They were all right.
Oh shit!
And I'm not doing mono in quotes like it's some STD. No, it was legit just mono. Like.
I don't even know what mono is. I know it's something with
It's
your
the
throat.
kissing disease, right?
Does it give you a sore throat or something?
It's supposed to give you a sore throat. It's supposed to enlarge your spleen. It's supposed to make you lethargic. None of that shit ever happened to me.
Do black people get mono?
I don't know. It sounds like a white folk shit.
I've never heard of any black person with mono. No, wait. I do think I do know. I don't know who, but I do think I have heard of one black person that had mono. And then that's when I started questioning.
Are you black?
Well, not are you black. Not are you black. But how black are you? Like, are your parents mixed, or are they like black? Are they like, how's that work? I'm just saying, I've never heard of a black person with mono.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And if you are, I'm thinking that you're 2/4, meaning your parents were mixed on both ends and had you, which means you're 2/4. You're not even half, you're 2/4. I know 2/4 is half. I'm just saying they're two. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not half, you're 2/4. I don't know. That's where mono comes from. I don't know, Mike. Where's mono come from?
White people.
Listen.
Goddamn white people.
Why don't black people have a kissing disease?
I don't know. Probably because you're too poor.
Almost pissed on myself. OMG. Listen, okay, for everybody that's listening, this isn't necessarily an agree for me,
but
as the black guy.
It's just funny, right?
OMG. Oh, that made my day.
Woo, buddy.
Oh my God. Oh, that was great. That was great.
I've never heard of a disease that was income dependent.
That was right. Oh, so both of you can't both now. Now I'm getting jumped over here. Oh, that's hilarity. I'm getting jumped with the hilarity.
You know?
Listen, it's tears. There's tears forming. You can't see it. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I enjoy those. Where were we at, though?
I don't know. What the fuck are we talking about?
You know what, though? I did mean to ask.
We've gone so far off the rails.
Right. Speaking of the Olympics, though, what are y'all's favorite things